After a painful breakup, a young nurse thinks she's finally found the perfect apartment. But hidden inside its walls is a terrifying secret, one that will turn her new home into the most dangerous place she could ever live. This is The Resident 2011. The movie follows Juliet, a young nurse trying to rebuild her life after a painful breakup. Lonely and emotionally drained, she decides to leave her old apartment behind and start over. After several disappointing apartment viewings, Juliet finally finds the place she's been searching for. It's spacious, beautiful, and unbelievably cheap. When Juliet asks why the rent is so low, the owner, Max, explains that a train runs beneath the building, and most tenants can't tolerate the constant noise. Since Juliet doesn't mind, she happily signs the lease. It feels like the fresh start she desperately needed. That night, Juliet is fast asleep when she suddenly gets the terrifying feeling that someone is inside her bedroom. She jolts awake, checks every corner of the room. Nothing. Convinced it was only her imagination, Juliet closes her eyes and falls back asleep. But she's not alone. Just a few feet away, someone is still standing in the darkness, watching her. The next morning, Juliet finds a gift outside her apartment door. Believing Max left it there, she thanks him, only to learn the gift actually came from his father. When Juliet goes to thank the old man, he shamelessly flirts with her, making her even more uncomfortable that she leaves almost immediately. A few days later, Juliet meets Max again at an art exhibition. The two spend the evening together, and for the first time since her breakup, Juliet enjoys someone's company again. Little by little, she begins lowering her guard and impulsively kisses him. And that's when the movie suddenly flashes back, revealing that long before Juliet moved into the apartment, Max had already become obsessed with her. One day, while visiting the hospital with his grandfather, he noticed Juliet. And when he overheard that she was searching for an apartment, he deliberately contacted her and offered her his apartment. And the shadow inside Juliet's bedroom was Max all along. Hidden behind the closet walls is a secret passage that allows him to enter Juliet's apartment whenever he wants. Every single night, after Juliet falls asleep, Max quietly sneaks inside her bedroom. Only God knows what he does with her. Back in the present, Juliet confesses that she still has feelings for her ex-boyfriend and isn't ready to start a new relationship. Although Max quietly accepts her decision, his obsession with her only grows stronger. That night, after Juliet falls asleep, Max slips through the hidden passage once again. He quietly steps into her bedroom, careful not to make the slightest sound. As he slowly reaches toward her, Juliet suddenly begins to wake up. Max freezes. For one terrifying moment, it seems she's about to catch him. But before Juliet can fully open her eyes, Max disappears. Shaken by the strange feeling, Juliet searches every corner of the apartment. At first, nothing seems out of place. Then, she notices something unusual. A hidden room concealed behind one of the walls. Curious, she steps inside. And what she finds sends a chill down her spine. A narrow passage, leading directly into her bedroom. The discovery leaves Juliet deeply unsettled. The next morning, she confronts Max about the hidden room. But, acting just as surprised as she is, Max apologizes and promises to seal it off immediately. Relieved, Juliet believes the problem has finally been solved. A few days later, Juliet begins settling back into her normal routine, believing the hidden passage is no longer a threat. But she couldn't be more wrong. One evening, while Juliet is cooking dinner, Max secretly watches her through the hidden passage. And when he overhears that her ex-boyfriend is coming over that night, jealousy immediately takes over. Later that evening, Juliet and her ex reconnect. And before long, the two begin growing close again. Hidden only a few feet away, Max watches every second. Meanwhile, his obsession transforms into something far more dangerous, crossing a line from which there is no turning back. After Juliet's ex leaves, Max secretly slips drugs into her drink. Completely unaware, Juliet drinks it and soon loses consciousness. That night, Max enters her bedroom once again and sexually assaults her while she is completely defenseless. The following morning, Juliet wakes up exhausted and confused. She has been arriving late to work for days, but she can't understand why. Deep down, she knows something isn't right. So, determined to uncover the truth, Juliet secretly installs cameras throughout her apartment without telling Max. Meanwhile, Max murders his own father with a drug overdose because he is trying to warn Juliet to leave the apartment. That night, Juliet reviews the security camera footage, hoping to catch whoever has been tormenting her, but everything appears completely normal. Exhausted, frustrated, and convinced she's getting nowhere, she pours herself a glass of wine to calm her nerves. But not long after, she loses consciousness once again. That night, Max enters her bedroom once again and sexually assaults her while she is completely defenseless. This time, however, Juliet briefly opens her eyes and catches a terrifying glimpse of Max standing over her. But before she can react, he injects another sedative into her arm, sending her back into a deep sleep. The next morning, Juliet wakes up feeling worse than ever. As she searches her bedroom, she notices a small plastic cap from a syringe lying beneath her bed. In that moment, everything finally begins to make sense. Someone has been drugging her. So, Juliet rushes to the hospital for blood and urine tests. When the results come back, they confirm her worst fear. There are powerful sedatives in her system. Now, terrified but determined, Juliet races back to her apartment and reviews the security footage one final time. This time, she carefully examines every second. And then, she sees it. Hidden in the darkness, Max quietly unlocks her apartment, slips inside, and injects her with drugs while she lies unconscious in bed. The person she trusted the most has been turning her own home into a prison. But before Juliet has time to process what she's just witnessed, there's a knock at the door. It's Max. Standing there with another bottle of wine and his usual friendly smile, he acts as though nothing has happened. Realizing she can't reveal what she knows, Juliet forces herself to stay calm and pretends everything is normal. Max pours her a drink, but this time, she refuses. The change in her behavior immediately raises his suspicion. His smile slowly disappears, replaced by something far more dangerous. Then, Max pulls out another syringe and lunges straight at her. Juliet reacts instantly, grabbing a kitchen knife as a desperate struggle erupts. And although she's completely overpowered, she manages to break free and lock herself inside the bathroom. Shaking with fear, she stares at her reflection, desperately trying to catch her breath. But suddenly, Max smashes his way inside. Juliet barely escapes before he can grab her, sprinting through the building in a desperate search for any possible way out. Then, as she runs through the dark corridors, she stumbles into a storage room, hoping to find a place to hide. Instead, she discovers something far more horrifying. Lying motionless on the floor is the body of her ex-boyfriend. Max murdered him. Now, Juliet realizes there will be no escape unless one of them dies. Determined to survive, she grabs a heavy construction tool and prepares for one final confrontation. And the two engage in a brutal fight that pushes Juliet to her absolute limit, striking Max again and again until he finally collapses to the ground. And he never gets back up. Finally, after surviving the nightmare that had been unfolding inside the very place she once called home, Juliet walks out of the apartment alive. The place she believed would keep her safe had been designed to trap her all along.